It's that time of year. It's time for Giant Monster Month. The moment you've all been waiting for is here. Godzilla is the most famous, ferocious, and long-lasting monster on this list. Godzilla is the most popular monster on the planet and has starred in 31 films with more coming. However, today we will be looking back to the little movie that started it all. In 1954, the Toho production company hit pay dirt with a monster movie that resonated with audiences across the world. Director Ishiro Honda used his expertise for making war films and documentaries to create a world that reflected Japan's feelings of rage, horror, and sorrow following the conclusion of the Second World War. While Godzilla was not the first monster flick to feature an irradiated creature, the raw emotion of such subject matter simply couldn't be captured by American filmmakers. One film managed to serve both as a warning of the dangers of nuclear weapons and as a reminder of the devastation that such weapons could inflict upon a nation. Godzilla can't be killed. The Japanese self-defense force is rendered useless next to his stature and atomic breath. Only a more powerful, deadly weapon, called the oxygen destroyer, can hope to stop the monster. But, just like the nuclear bomb before it, a scientist struggles with whether or not the creation will bring peace or just more suffering. One interesting thing to note about the plot of Godzilla is that there are technically two, or more accurately, there are two separate movies. While it was common for American companies to recut and dub over foreign films, new footage was shot using American actors for Godzilla. This separate version, entitled Godzilla, King of the Monsters, was released in America a full 2 years after the Japanese version, and received better reaction among American critics than Japanese ones at first. In this new version, an American reporter called Steve Martin, no, not that one, recalls the events depicted in Godzilla as a flashback. Martin awakens before the climax of the movie and is able to witness the use of the oxygen destroyer. Godzilla struck a chord with audiences that would inspire countless other movies throughout the 50s and 60s. During this time, Godzilla would be considered the gold standard for monster movies and wouldn't be surpassed by any of its imitations. Most major horror movies to come out of the United States or Japan in the 1950s were in some way shaped by Godzilla, from dozens of Godzilla clones from a number of different production agencies to the more generic sci-fi alien movies that shared Godzilla's common theme of fear of the atomic age. The original Godzilla would also have a major effect on some of the technical aspects of these movies. As I mentioned before, director Ishiro Honda and his special effects director, Eiji Tsuburaya, perfected the technique of miniatures for Godzilla. The process involved creating scaled-down versions of vehicles and buildings to match the height of the actor in the Godzilla suit. While some monster movies and even later Godzilla movies would use cheaper techniques like toy tanks, Tsuburaya built cars that could be crushed and buildings that broke like their real-life, larger counterparts, an impressive feat for the time. The quality of the special effects, combined with the black and white film, makes the movie feel very realistic. Overall, this movie is a classic. Godzilla is irrefutably the king of the monsters, a powerful symbol of one of the most controversial events of the 20th century. If you watch any movie on this list, this is the one. Plus, if you like it, there are 30 sequels you can watch too. Maybe that's the real horror.